So a lot of people have been interested in the recording process used for the new CD, Under, being that it was recorded on location in Australia. In the past, the old records I recorded in my studio, and the songs were sort of constructed in an experimental fashion and added to, and they were thick, dense orchestrations by the time I was done.
I gotta hold back, can't let it all loose right now.
Most of the drums, which there were drums on the other albums, there were none on the new one. The drums were recorded here in this studio, J31, in a nice big room, because I didn't have that available in my studio. Then I'd go work in my studio and track for probably a year or two at a time. And then I'd come back here to J31 and we'd mix the album, still in digital, but we'd run it through a bunch of analog gear and mix it on a real board. And that's how that process went. This one, however, I took a laptop rig with me to Australia. The whole recording rig was my carry-on on the plane, microphones and everything. So it was a very small rig. That was my carry-on. And I set it up in the apartment that Sabina and I lived in, which was a wood-floored small apartment in St. Kilda, very noisy. I had to keep waiting for trams to go by and drunks to stumble on by and all that kind of thing. So the songs were tracked pretty much live, as most of the album is just me and a guitar anyway.
Withering screams. Yeah, those dark, lovely eyes full of surprise when you pulled out your Jekyll and Hyde. You were both full of wonder, then you pulled her down under. Backwards as both of you cried. Oh, where did we go?
Well, Sabina added her vocals on some of the songs, and then I came back to the United States, and the songs were mostly done, but I added a few things like D.B. Walker on dobro and just a couple little percussion things, not much. In this album, I mixed all on the computer because there weren't many instruments on it, so it wasn't such a problem that I felt I needed to mix it through analog gear. Then I brought it in here to J31 where we were going to master it. We started mastering digitally, but something seemed to be missing. The acoustic music just sounded a little cool, and Jerry brought up the fact that a lot of the stuff he'd been doing was getting mastered down to analog tape, and he mentioned, there's that old analog tape machine in the corner over there, and but we don't have any tape for it. So I went on a mad hunt for tape, which isn't the easiest thing to find these days, and found some rolls, and we ran the songs over the tape, and presto, that was it. It really just made them nice and creamy. It made them sound more like the acoustic things they are. When Jerry and I started running over the tape and just using the tape machine and setting up the tones and all that stuff, it really brought me back to a time when I first started recording, and it kind of brought both of us sort of a nostalgia about, oh, yeah, we are missing something in the digital age. And I hope that when you listen to this album, you'll take notice of the fact that we kind of tried to step back in time just a little bit, give it more of an old kind of sound by throwing it over tape, something that was a standard forever, and it just isn't so much anymore. And I think it's a thing that should find its way into pretty much all music. It has a flavor that digital just doesn't have, and so I hope you notice that on this album, and I really hope a lot of people will listen to this in terms of their own productions and consider doing us all the favor of running their stuff over analog and giving us that old sound that seems to be lacking in today's music.
bottom of the